Hey guys, Artham this side और आज हम solve करने वाले हैं आज का लीड कोड क्वेश्चन which is problem number 268 missing number. So in this problem, let's first read the problem. You're given an array nums containing n distinct numbers. So first thing you notice is that you're given an array of size n, which consists of all distinct numbers in the range 0 to n, and for the range who do not know the range, this means inclusive of both the elements, right? Inclusive of both the elements, which means the array would include element from 0 till n. For example, you have a size 3 array, so there would be elements from 0 till that 3, because both are inclusive. And if it was something like this, then it means that this is not included and this is not included. Only the element between 0 to n would be in the array, but as in the question both the elements are included. So what you have to do, you have to return the only number that in that range, in this particular range, that is missing from the array, right? So आपको वो number return करना है that is missing from the array. Let's look at the example and understand it more. In this example, you're given an array of size 3. Obviously then elements would be from 0 to 3, which means 0 1 2 3. And it is not sorted, it is not in ascending order or in any order, so you cannot just iterate through it and find the answer, right? So what you will do to find the missing number from this array, you know that missing the number would be in between 0 to this 3, right? 0 to 3, because size of the array is 3, and you are given that the elements in the array would be from 0 to n, both inclusive. So one way brute force approach would be that you first sort the array, and after sorting the array, this array would look something like 0 1 and 3. And after sorting the array, what you could do, you could just iterate this array from 0 to this, right? And you can check whether the difference of the two consecutive elements is 1 or not, because if it is not 1, then you can easily find the missing element, right? This is one way, but when you go to the time complexity of this code, you know that sorting would itself take what time complexity? N log n time complexity, right? N log n time complexity. But we don't go by these hectic time complexity, so we tend to optimize it. And as it is a easy question, you can also solve it by n log n, right? So but we won't be solving it using sorting, we would be using just a little bit of maths, right? Just a little bit of maths. So let's understand our approach, what we'll do in this question, right? So in this question, you know that if I try to find the sum of numbers from 0 to given number n, for example, in this case it is 0 to 3, because size of the array in this particular case is 3. So let's say I find out the sum of all the numbers from 0 to 3, right? This would give me 6, right? 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6, right? And what I do, I also find the sum of the members of this given array, right? So that would give me what? 3 plus 0 plus 1, this gives me 4, right? This gives me 4. Now when you look at this carefully, you are just given in this question that you're only missing a single element, right? You're only missing a single element. Now if you just take the sum of all the elements that are possible in that array and the elements present in that array at that particular time, the difference of these two would give you missing element. Let's see, 6 minus 4 would give you what? 2, which is the missing element in this case, right? And how does this work? Let's see. You're summing all the elements possible, right? And you know that one of the elements from these elements is missing, right? Then when you take the sum of the given element, you know that one of the elements is missing from the array. And when you take the sum, what you're actually doing it, you're subtracting 1 from 1, 0 from 0, 3 from 3. And what will you get? You will get the missing element, right? So that's the basic logic behind this. And obviously you know that how to find the sum of all the numbers from 0 to n, right? All the numbers from 0 to n, or all the numbers from 1 to n, because that won't make any difference, right? 0 plus 1 plus 2 is 3, right? And 1 plus 2 is also 3. So you can either start from 0 or start from 1 while summing all the numbers from 0 to n. And you know that formula, right? It is simple AP, you know the formula. And what is that formula for the sum? It is nothing but n into n plus 1 by 2, right? Then you would get what? You would get the sum of all the elements from 0 to n. And for summing these elements, what you'll do, you'll just take a variable sum is equals to 0, and you'll iterate this, adding every element of this array. Yeah, so that's the basic logic. For example, you can also check the logic in this case. what you do, the size of the array is 2, which means element would be from 0 to 2. When you when you make sum of all these elements, which means 0 plus 1 plus 2, right, 3. And by formula, if you calculate the sum, it would give you what? It would give you what? 2 into 2 plus 1 by 2, right? 2 gets cancels off 2, and you would be remain with 3, right? I also verified it using the formula, right? So when you subtract this sum from the sum given by the elements of this array, which would be 0 plus 1, that is 1. When you subtract 3, when you subtract 1 from this 3, this sum from the actual all the element sum, you would get 2, which would be your missing element, because there's only one missing element in this case, right? So there's only one missing element in this case. So that the logic we would be using, because it would give us reduced time complexity. Now let's go to the code quickly and understand the time complexity of this approach. In this function, you're given this function, you have to return the missing element, right, which is of type int. And what you are given is, you're given the array nums or vector nums. What I had done is, I just calculate the size of the array, and I have calculated the sum. This what does this mean? This means that I'm calculating the sum of all the elements from 0 to n. And what this sum indicates, this sum 2 indicates, this indicates I am actually calculating sum of all the individual elements present in the array, which means excluding the missing element, right? Excluding the single missing element, I'm calculating the sum of all the elements present in the array, right? So that would be a sum 2, right? That would be a sum 2, and this is a sum. And what I had done, I just returned sum minus sum 2, whole sum minus sum of the array, which would give me what? Missing element, right? Missing element, LE, right? So that's our approach. Now let's quickly go through the time complexity. These are you just no, you're not using sorting, right? You're not using sorting, you're just iterating the array of size n, which means, and in this loop, which runs n time, you're just doing a constant time operation, right? Constant time operation. So time complexity for this loop would be big O of n, where n is the size of this nums array, right? And that's the whole time complexity. Now you see that we have not used sorting, so we have reduced the time complexity from n log n to this, right? From n log n to this, which is linear time complexity, which is the best, right? And for space complexity, obviously we are not using any external data structure or variable length. We are just using what? Constant size variables, which means that space complexity is also constant. This is a space complexity big of 1. Right, so that's all for today, and this is our today's lead code question. I'll paste the link in description. कोई भी problem आपका आप description में comment में आप बता दें, और problem solve हो जाएगी immediately, right? So do try this problem. I'll paste the link again. I'm saying I'll paste the link in the description. Do try this problem, because आप खुद नहीं करेंगे, खुद नहीं सोचेंगे, brute force से first नहीं करेंगे, then you wouldn't understand the feel of the concept of coding, right? So that's all for today. Thank you.